Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Tuesday, November 7th, 2023. Today we'll recap last night's Monday Night Football game and look ahead to college football tonight. And then we'll do college basketball, NHL, NBA, soccer, the portfolio. We have a future for you. We'll get into a little bit of election day with some gubernatorials today and some notable mayoral races. News and notes and best bet. We'll start with Monday Night Football. Ugly game and a very, very wake-up call kind of game for the New York Football Jets. As the Chargers come out on top by a score of 27-6. This reminded me of the Monday night game between Seattle and the Giants from earlier in the year. That's probably because it was in the same stadium. Granted, Seattle's probably a better team than the Chargers, as both teams are sitting there now at 4-4, meaning the Chargers and the Jets. But Justin Herbert really wasn't good. 16 of 336 yards. Austin Eckler ran in 2 scores. Darius Davis, 87-yard punt return, which was impressive. And then they had 2 field goals, and the Jets had 2 field goals. And Zach Wilson was abominable. 33 of 49, 263 yards, no touchdowns. Breece Hall, 16 of 50. He wasn't good. Eckler, 14 of 47 and 2 scores. Garrett Wilson, 7 of 80. That's good. Keenan Allen, 8 of 77. That's okay. So, college football tonight. We have Maction, Tuesday Maction back after Conference USA had a couple of weeks in a row with Tuesday night games. Now the Maction's back, which is fun. We like Maction. 7 o'clock on CBS Sports Network, you have Ball State and Northern Illinois. My projections, Northern by 10, total 46 and 11/20. And it is 9.5 and 43.5. I like the over. That is a low total. ESPNU at 7 o'clock, Central Michigan, Western Michigan. I have Central by 3.5, total 56 and 3/10. And it's Western 3.5, total 57.5. Woo! Give me Central plus 3.5 and plus 134 outright. That's surprising. And then, considering how bad Western is. And then 7:30 on ESPN2, Ohio Buffalo. I have Ohio by 8, total 44, and it's 7.5 and 43.5. So very, very close. So the value is 7.5 at even money, but I would like it more if it went down to 7. So I'm gonna lay to 7.5. Do a slight lean to Ohio. Minus 7.5 at even money. Okay, college basketball from last night. We are going to rapid fire these results. And I mean rapid fire. Some of these were shocking upsets. Other of these were typical, okay. And then others were like, ooh. All right. IPI over Spalding, 70-63. Hofstra beats St. John's Long Island, 101-48. Troy beats Fort Lauderdale, 92-47. CFF Austin beats North American, 96-68. Prairie View beats Kansas Christian, 89-66. From Vegas, Oregon beats Georgia, 82-71. Oregon State beats Linfield, 82-46. Penn beats John Jay College, 102-57. UMass Lowell beats Rivier, 96-51. Number 3, Purdue beats Stanford, 98-45. Number 6, UConn beats Northern Arizona, 95-52. Number 9, Tennessee beats Tennessee Tech, 80-42. Number 13, Miami beats NJIT, 101-60. Number 19, North Carolina beats Radford, 86-70. NC State beats Fort Heath, 65-57. Gardner-Webb beats Erskine, 98-58. Coastal Carolina beats Piedmont, 88-86. Tennessee Martin beats Champion Christian, 104-76. East Tennessee State beats King College, 73-56. UNC Wilmington beats Mount Olive, 105-66. Penn State beats Delaware State, 79-45. Stetson beats Trinity Baptist, 109-54. Jacksonville beats Johnson, Florida, 113-46. Furman beats North Greenville, 84-68. How about this? Clark Atlantic beats Mercer, 71-64. Gosh, that's a terrible loss for Mercer. Kent State over Malone, 79-58. High Point beats St. Andrews, 105-51. Charleston Southern beats Toccoa Falls, 94-59. Davis beats Washington and Lee, 86-63. Southeast Louisiana beats Delta State, 90-71. Wofford beats Brevard, 85-68. Chattanooga beats Confident, 89-44. Delaware beats Bucknell, 78-57. Indiana State beats SMWC, 90-60. Norfolk State beats Penn State Wilkes-Barre, 102-55. Siena beats Holy Cross, 73-71. Rider beats Immaculata, 113-67. Duquesne beats Cleveland State, 79-77. South Carolina beats SC Upstate, 82-53. Howard beats Hampton, 92-80. Bowling Green beats Chicago State, 70-41. Yale beats Vassar, 102-53. Princeton beats Rutgers, 68-61. Rhode Island beats Central Connecticut, 81-70. Utah Valley beats Carroll MT, 81-73. Liberty beats Mid-Atlantic, 103-43. North Florida beats Coastalga, 92-55. Clemson beats Winthrop, 78-56. George Mason beats Monmouth, 72-61. East Carolina beats Ferrum, 91-61. NC State beats the Citadel, 72-59. Louisville beats UMBC, 94-93. Notre Dame beats Niagara, 70-63. Old Dominion beats Virginia Wesleyan, 71-57. Marshall beats Queens, 89-73. North Dakota State beats Western Michigan, 80-76 in overtime. Harvard beats UMass Boston, 78-50. Providence beats Columbia, 78-59. Sacramento beats Sarah Lawrence, 95-51. Toledo beats Detroit, 94-60. Colgate beats Brown, 72-70. Charleston beats Iona, 71-69. Ohio State beats Oakland, 79-73. Charlotte beats Maine, 69-52. Pitt beats NCAA, 100-52. St. John's beats Lafayette, 81-60. Dayton beats SIU Edwardsville, 63-47. McNeese beats VCU, 76-65. West Virginia beats Missouri State, 67-59. Virginia beats Tarleton State, 80-50. St. Bonaventure beats Longwood, 73-69. Richmond beats VMI, 93-75. Syracuse beats New Hampshire, 83-72. Number 22 Villanova beats American, 90-63. Texas Rio Grande beats Southwest Adventist, 110-59. Northwestern State beats Dallas Christian, 101-54. Manhattan beats Bryant, 61-59. Cornell beats Lehigh, 84-78. Georgia Tech beats Georgia Southern, 84-62. William & Mary beats Regent, 84-29. Temple beats Maryland Eastern, 85-65. Fairleigh Dickinson beats Buffalo, 92-86. Colorado beats Towson, 75-57. Seton Hall beats St. Peter, 70-59. Fordham beats Wagner, 68-64 in overtime. Vermont beats Merrimack, 67-55. New Orleans beats Millsaps, 170. Quinnipiac beats Coast Guard, 116-48. Wichita State beats Lipscomb, 76-59. Belmont beats Georgia State, 89-87. Number 1 Kansas beats NC Central, 99-56. Number 7 Houston beats UL Monroe, 84-31. Number 14 Arkansas beats Alcorn State, 93-59. Number 15 Texas A&M beats Texas A&M Commerce, 78-46. Number 16 Kentucky beats New Mexico State, 86-46. Number 18 Texas beats Incarnate Word, 88-56. Number 24 Alabama beats Morehead State, 105-73. Number 25 Illinois beats Eastern Illinois, 80-52. Grambling beats North Texas Dallas, 82-67. Mobile beats South Alabama, 83-74. That's a bad loss for South Alabama. So them and Mercer lose to Division II teams. Milwaukee beats Wisconsin Stout, 91-73. St. Louis beats Southern Indiana, 75-63. Little Rock beats Texas State, 71-66. Southern Miss beats so where do they leave off? Southern Miss beats William Carey, 64-42. Southern Illinois beats Kentucky State, 88-57. Campbell beats Navy, 59-48. Texas Arlington beats Oral Roberts, 75-71. Ole Miss beats Alabama State, 69-59. Missouri beats Arkansas Pine Bluff, 101-79. Valparaiso beats Trinity 2, 161. Murray State beats Midway, 91-58. Northeastern beats BU, 67-58. Idaho State beats Warner Pacific, 92-36. UTSA beats Western Illinois, 78-68 in overtime. Evansville beats Miami of Ohio, 72-64. Bradley beats UAB, 73-71 in overtime, so best bet lost. Wisconsin beats Arkansas State, 105-76. LC beats Mississippi Valley State, 106-60. Marist beats Army, 71-55. Oklahoma beats Central Michigan, 89-59. Virginia Tech beats Coppin State, 155. Memphis beats Jackson State, 94-77. UMKC for Avila, 79-48. Lamar beats Jarvis Christian, 114-66. Butler beats Eastern Michigan, 94-55. Wake beats Elan, 101-78. George Washington beats Stonehill, 89-44. Illinois State beats Lourdes, 75-56. Xavier beats Robert Morris, 77-63. BC beats Fairfield, 89-70. Florida beats Loyola Maryland, 93-73. UCF beats FIU, 85-62. Iowa State beats Green Bay, 85-44. Nebraska beats Lindenwood, 84-52. Minnesota beats Bethune, 80-60. Northwestern beats Binghamton, 72-61. Tulsa beats Central Arkansas, 70-53. Austin Peay beats Life University, 90-72. James Madison upsets number 4 Michigan State, 79-76 in overtime. Wow. Number 5 Marquette beats Northern Illinois, 92-70. Western Kentucky beats Kentucky Wesleyan, 90-64. Tennessee State beats Fisk, 76-61. SMU beats Southwest Assembly of God, 82-63. Middle Tennessee beats Northern Kentucky, 74-57. Louisiana beats Youngstown State 72-62. Omaha beats Doane 85-53. North Alabama beats Blue Mountain 93-60. Number 2 Duke beats Dartmouth 92-54. UC Davis beats William Jessup 86-52 or 51. Utah beats McMurray 102-71. Abilene Christian upsets Oklahoma State 64-59, so Oklahoma State loses a bye game. South Dakota beats Mount Mary 85-53. BYU beats Houston Christian 110-63. Grand Canyon beats Southeast Missouri 88-67. Tulane beats Nichols 91-81. Cal beats St. Thomas 71-66. Montana beats Northwest Indian 103-63. TCU beats Southern by a score of where did I leave off? 108-75. Cincinnati over UIC 69-58. Akron over South Dakota State 81-75. Number 12 Arizona beats Morgan State 122-59. Utah State over San Diego Tech 101-48. Portland State over Air Force 62-55. Northern Colorado over Colorado College 87-58. Utah over Eastern Washington 101-66. New Mexico beats Texas Southern 92-55. From Vegas, number 21 USC over Kansas State 82-69. Number 23 St. Mary's over St. Louis State 107-28. Cal Poly over La Verne 80-62. Bakersfield over Southern Utah 73-72. San Fran over Bethesda 128-59. Colorado State beats Louisiana Tech 81-73. Cal Baptist beats San Fran State 74-57. Pepperdine over Concordia, California 76-64. Sam Houston over Pacific 64-57. Number 17 San Diego State over Fullerton 83-57. Fresno State over Fresno Pacific 77-66. UC San Diego over Denver 95-87. Portland over Long Beach State 78-73. San Diego beats Sonoma State 68-64. Stanford beats Cal State Northridge 88-79. Washington State beats Idaho 84-59. Washington beats Bellarmine 91-57. UCLA beats St. Fran PA 75-44. All right. Smaller window today. So we can skip the 12:30 game between Brescia and Jacksonville State. First up, in terms of games between Division I opponents, we have Drexel-LaSalle. My projection is Drexel by 9, and Drexel is giving only 2.5 totals, 133.5. I'm going to lay the 2.5 with Drexel. They're just better than LaSalle this year. Oakland City, App State, we can skip. Big Ten, Eric, Florida Gulf Coast, Indiana. I have Indiana by 18. It's 11.5. Totals 143.5. I'll lay with Indiana. 7 o'clock, West Virginia Tech, Eastern Kentucky, we can skip. Oakwood, Kennesaw, we can skip. Goshen, Ball State, we can skip. Fox Sports 1, Stony Brook, St. John's. My projection is St. John's by 22. And it's 17.5. Totals 146.5. I'm going to lay the points with St. John's. Dalton, West Carolina, we can skip. Albany, UMass, I have UMass 14, and it's 9.5 and 148.5. I'll lay with UMass. Mount St. Mary's and Maryland, I have Maryland by 29, and Maryland is giving 20.5 totals, 131.5. I'll lay the points of Maryland, so it's all favorites so far. Fox Sports 2, Lemoyne, Georgetown, I have Georgetown by 38. That's big for Georgetown. It's 18.5. I'm going to lay it with Georgetown in Ed Cooley's first game. Northern Iowa, North Texas. That's at 8 o'clock. I have Northern Iowa by 4.5. And it's North Texas by 4.5. Totals 129.5. I'll take Northern plus 4.5 and plus 155 outright. North Dakota, Iowa. I have Iowa 18. And it's 19.5 and 156.5. That's a high total. I'm going to go under. Presbyterian, Vanderbilt. I have Vandy by 22. And it's 18.5 and 136.5. I'll lay the points. A couple here we can skip. St. Thomas, Texas, Rice. Southwest Adventist, A&M, Corpus Christi. 8:30, also North New Mexico, Wyoming. And in Big Ten Network, you have UNT Asheville, Michigan. My line's Michigan by 5. I don't think Michigan's going to be good this year. It's 10.5 and 143.5. Give me Asheville plus the points, the cover. 9 o'clock, Fox Sports 1, Florida A&M at number 8, Creighton. I have Creighton by a whopping 54. And it's 35.5 and 139.5. I'll lay the points with Creighton. From South Dakota on ESPN at 9 o'clock, Auburn and number 20 Baylor. This follows the college football playoff rankings. My line is Baylor by 7, and it's Auburn. Why is Auburn favored? That's ridiculous. Total's 147. There must be like some injury on Baylor. Give me Baylor plus 1.5 and minus 105 outright. And give me Scott Drew over Burst Pro any day of the week. A couple weeks skip, Northwest Indian, Montana, Benedictine out, Arizona, Weber State, Vanguard, Boise. We can skip all those. All right, so Fox Sports 2, Purdue, Fort Wayne, DePaul. I have DePaul by 27, and it's 10.5. Total's 143.5. I'll lay it with DePaul. UC Merced, UC Riverside, we can skip. Two more, so 10 o'clock, UC Irvine, San Jose State. I have San Jose State by 3.5. And it's Irvine by 4.5. Total's 129.5. Wait, is this right? That's insane. That's that nutty of a line. Yeah. All right, give me San Jose State plus 4.5 and plus 150 outright. Irvine, Loyola, Marymount, we can skip. And then, last but not least, Sacramento State, Nevada. I have Nevada by 8, and it's 13.5. Totals 137.5. Give me Sacramento State getting the points. Okay, we'll do NHL before NBA, only because NBA's off today. So we'll do NHL first. We'll go over the results from last night, look ahead to tonight, which should be a large slate. Leafs over the Lightning, 6-5 in overtime on a game winner by Callie Johncock. Panthers over the Blue Jackets, 5-4 in overtime on a game winner by Carter Verhaeghe. Bruins over the Stars, 3-2. And the Canucks over the Oilers, 6-2. Yeah, so we have 10 tonight, including a TNT doubleheader. So 7 o'clock, you have the Lightning and the Habs. Lightning on the second of a back-to-back. They're favored minus 137. Montreal's plus 114, over under 6.5. Overs minus 134, unders plus 110. Lightning minus 1.5 is plus 164. Montreal plus 1.5 is minus 200. I'm going to go with Montreal outright plus 114. I like a lot of dogs tonight. Sabres, Hurricanes. Canes minus 200. Sabres plus 164. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 132. Unders plus 108. Sabres plus 1.5 is minus 40. Canes minus 1.5 is plus 116. Neither team's been impressive so far. I feel like the Canes have been a little disappointing. So I am going to do the Canes puck line, minus 1.5 plus 116. I think this is a good Canes win. All right, 7:30 TNT, Red Wings, Rangers. No Igor Shesterkin tonight, which is bad. No Adam Fox, no Filipino. They're still favored, minus 114. The Red Wings are plus 118, over under 6.5. Overs plus 104, and there's minus 128. Red Wings plus 1.5 is minus 100. Rangers minus 1.5 is plus 164. Red Wings and overs the same game parlay. Like, book it. I'm taking the Red Wings plus 118. No Shesterkin. And the Red Wings are actually not a bad team right now. So I like them to win at MSG tonight. And I feel like I picked against the Rangers every podcast, which bodes well for me because I feel like every time I pick against them, I get bit in the ass. Wild Islanders. Isles minus 118, Wild minus 102, over under 5.5, overs minus 134, unders plus 110. Wild plus 1.5 is minus 250, Isles minus 1.5 is plus 202. I like the under in that game. I think that's a low-scoring game. 8 o'clock, Jets, Blues. Jets minus 137, Blues plus 114, over under 5.5, overs minus 138, unders plus 112. Jets minus 1.5 is plus 180, Blues plus 1.5 is minus 220. I am going to go with under 2.5 Blues goals plus 112. It's a Connor Hellebuck bet. 9 o'clock, Preds Flames. Flames minus 128. Preds plus 106. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 134. Unders plus 110. Preds plus 1.5 is minus 65. Flames minus 1.5 is plus 190. I'm going to go full game under plus 110. Kraken Coyotes. Neither team's off to a good start. Coyotes a little better than I thought, though. Coyotes minus 114. Kraken minus 105. Over under 6.5. Overs plus 108. Unders minus 132. Kraken plus 1.5 is minus 50. Coyotes minus 1.5 is plus 202. I like the over plus money. 10 o'clock TNT Devils Avalanche from Denver. Avs minus 182. Devils plus 150. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 102. Unders minus 120. Devils plus 1.5 is minus 162. Avs minus 1.5 is plus 134. Both these teams are playing good hockey right now. Devils can get into a tie with the Rangers with the win if they lose to Detroit, meaning Days and the Rangers. This is a hard one, but I like the over. Penguins Ducks. Pens minus 194. Ducks plus 160. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 138. Unders plus 112. Pens minus 1.5 is plus 120. Ducks plus 1.5 is minus 144. The Penguins are playing poorly right now. I know they put up a big number on San Jose, but San Jose is just god-awful. I'm taking the Ducks outright, plus 160. This is a big underdog outright that I'm picking right now. A team with 6 more points should not be plus 160. With literally a month into the season. And the Penguins are a big minus favorite on the road because of their past reputation. Not their current situation. 10:30, Flyers Sharks. Flyers minus 184, Sharks plus 150, over under 6.5. Overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Flyers minus 1.5 is plus 122. Sharks plus 1.5 is minus 146. Over. Shark games now over, auto over. And yeah, why are there TNT games tonight for hockey instead of ESPN? Which is, ESPN has the college football playoff and the college basketball. And then NBA is off, obviously. And now we'll do NBA. We will go over the results from yesterday. We have no games tonight because of Election Day. So, Warriors over the Pistons, 120-109. Pacers over the Spurs, 152-111. Mavs over the Magic, 117-102. Sixers over the Wizards, 146-128. Bucks over the Nets, 129-125. Heat over the Lakers, 108-107. Knicks over the Clippers, 111-97. As the Clippers lose James Harden's first game by 14. A good win for the Knicks, though, nonetheless. Bulls over the Jazz, 130-113. Rockets over the Kings, 122-97. Timberwolves over the Celtics, 114-109 in overtime. Thunder over the Hawks, 126-117. And the Nuggets over the Pelicans, 134-116. So, there you have it for NBA. Lakers are under 500. The Nets continue to be competitive. The Mavs are a surprise so far in the West. The Pacers, after giving up 150, scores 150. Makes sense of that. Warriors take care of business. Knicks get a kind of a much-needed win, considering they have such a hard schedule. And just typical Clippers losing their first game with James Harden. And then Sixers take care of business against the Wizards despite giving up 128 points. And the Celtics suffered their first loss. And what a big win for Minnesota. So Minnesota, 2 monster wins so far over the Celtics and the Nuggets. So they have the best resume wins on the board so far. So that's some broad picture takeaways. All right, now I'll move on to soccer. I believe we have Champions League today. So we have games to go over from other leagues that played yesterday. I know La Liga played yesterday. Getafe over Cadiz 1-0. Serie A played. Frosinone over Empoli 2-1. And Torino over Sassuolo 2-1. And then MLS playoffs. Salt Lake Houston 1-1 draw. Salt Lake wins 5-4 on penalties as they tie up the series at 1 apiece to force a game 3. All right, and then 2 games tonight, 7 o'clock, you have Atlanta and Columbus. Columbus leads the series 1-0. So this is the 6-3. Atlanta Columbus should be an interesting game. Just gonna pull up the odds real quick. Atlanta's at home plus 140, Columbus plus 155, draw plus 280. I'm gonna go with Atlanta at home plus 140 to force a game 3, and then also in the East, by the way, Nashville, Orlando at 9 o'clock. This is the 7-2. Why is Nashville favored? Even money. Orlando plus 270, draw plus 230. Oh my God. Orlando's on fire right now. They're better than Nashville this year. I love Orlando plus 270 to knock off Nashville to end their season tonight to move on to the next round. UEFA Champions League. We have a couple of games today in group stage. 12:45 you have Shakhtar and Barcelona. This is Group H. And Barcelona should be big favorites. Yes, minus 400 Shakhtar's 10-1. The draw's 5-1. I'm going to go over 3.5 goals plus 124. Dortmund, Newcastle. This is Group F. Dortmund plus 165, Newcastle plus 155, draw plus 250. I'm going to go with the draw plus 250. These 2 teams are pretty even. 3 o'clock, Milan and PSG. This is Group F. PSG's off to a good start. They're plus 135, Milan's plus 195, draw plus 250. I'm going with PSG plus 135. Man City Young Boys. This is Group G. Man City minus 1,600, Young Boys 32-1. The draw's 14-1. I'm gonna go under 3.5 goals plus 114. I just think that's good value. Lazio and Feyenoord. This is Group E. Lazio plus 160, Feyenoord plus 170, draw plus 240. I'm going to go with Feyenoord on the road plus 170. FC Porto and Antwerp. This is Group H. Porto's 3-1 favorites. Antwerp plus 800. The draw's plus 420. I'm going to do under 2.5 goals plus 124. Red Star and RP Leipzig. This is Group G. Leipzig minus 170. Red Star plus 410. Draw plus 350. I like over 3.5 goals plus 132. And last but not least, Atletico and Celtic. This is Group E. Madrid minus 280, Celtic 7-1. The draw's plus 410. I like under 3.5, or I'm sorry, under 2.5 plus 130. We have more Champions League tomorrow. All right, English League Championship. We have a game today, 3 o'clock. Rotherham and Ipswich. So Rotherham is 22nd, and Ipswich is in second. Ipswich is a big favorite, minus 195. Rotherham is plus 490. The draw is plus 330. I like under 2.5 plus 114. And in the Scottish Premiership today at 2:45, you have St. Johnstone and Motherwell. St. Johnstone plus 165, Motherwell plus 170. The draw is 2-1. This is a league we really don't cover on the show, but I'm going to go with the draw at 2-1. All right, now I'll move on to the portfolio. I was thinking about soccer for the portfolio today. But I need to get more comfortable with the leagues before pulling the trigger on a future in soccer. College basketball started. I'm going to find a national champion. Long shot for you guys. So the team that I'm looking at right now to cut down the nets is 35-1. This is a team that I think is absolutely loaded in what is probably the best league in the country. They can win their league. This is a team that I actually picked to not win the title, but I picked the team in their league to win the title. But I just like the number because I have this team finishing in second in its league. And they have a coach that I think has proven himself after taking over for a coach that was awesome but got fired because of an off-court situation. And I'm talking about Texas and Rodney Terry. His team is 35-1, and I think they can absolutely win the national championship. So, I'm going to lay a fifth of a unit on Texas at 35-1 to win the 2024 NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Okay, today's election day, as we know, and I usually do cover elections on the show, and sometimes would do gubernatorial primaries, but I didn't have the time to do it this year. We have 3 gubernatorials going on today. It's Kentucky, it's Louisiana, and Mississippi. And those same 3 states have Secretary of States, Attorney Generals, State Treasurers, State Agriculture Commissioner, and then state Supreme Court elections is Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. Legislative, Louisiana, Mississippi, New Jersey, Virginia. And then we have some mayoral elections in some big cities. We had races that were already held. Tampa, Chicago, Green Bay, Madison, Lincoln, Arlington, Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Colorado Springs, Jacksonville, Denver, Montgomery, Nashville, Memphis. And then incumbents running, you have Boise, Idaho, Bridgeport, Connecticut, Charleston, South Carolina, Charlotte, Columbus, Ohio, Fort Wayne, Indianapolis, Knoxville, Orlando, Pueblo, Colorado, Salt Lake City, Savannah, South Bend, Spokane, Springfield, Massachusetts, Tucson, Arizona, Wichita, Kansas, and then Aurora, Colorado. Ineligible or retiring incumbents for mayor, Akron, Ohio, Carmel, Indiana, Des Moines, Iowa, Durham, North Carolina, Evansville, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, Hartford, Connecticut, Houston, Manchester, New Hampshire, Philly, and Portland, Maine. So the big one is Philly from like a somewhat local standpoint. We covered the New York one when it was Eric Adams that won. And so Philly, Jim Kenney is term limited. So it's Sherelle Parker against David O. Philadelphia is a blue city big time. I think that Parker has a large edge. She served in the Pennsylvania House of Representatives for a decade, representing the 200th District in Northwest Philly. And then she was elected to represent the 9th District on the Philly City Council in 15, reelected in 19, serving as Majority Leader for 3 years. And then she won the Democratic primary in May. And then David O., he served as a Republican member of the Philly City Council for over a decade, and he was the first Asian American elected to the City Council, so that is pretty awesome. But the thing with O is that he does have a military background, but he doesn't have the experience that Parker has. So I think Parker might win this vote in a landslide. And then endorsements, I'm trying to find the endorsements for Parker. She has a lot of them. Brendan Boyle, Dwight Evans, a lot of people around the state and in the city. And then David O., in terms of endorsements, Tom Ridge, an ex-governor of the state, Ronald Castile, former state Supreme Court Justice and district attorney. So, I actually do think that this will be like a potentially 78-20-21 and like a small for like the there's no independent, but like there's the random write-ins and whatnot. So I think that Parker wins this like 78-22 or something like that. That's a big one. And then other local elections, Allegheny County in Pennsylvania, Executive District Attorney, Board of Legislators. Chicago has City Council, City Clerk, City Treasurer, and Police District Councils. LA City Council, New York City Council, Philly City Council, Seattle City Council, St. Louis Board of Aldermen among them. And then the gubernatorials. So Kentucky, we have incumbent Andy Bashar and Republican Daniel Cameron. Bashar obviously is the current governor. He has some local endorsements, which is good for him. And then Cameron has some big endorsements, including Donald Trump, which is a big deal, Kevin Bratcher, Mark Levin, Marjorie Dan Felser. So I actually think that the incumbent loses here. So I think Cameron, with the with all the good endorsements he has, and I think he's done a good job advertising himself. So I think that Daniel Cameron is going to beat Andy Bashar here in Kentucky. Louisiana, we have Jeff Landry against Sean Wilson. John Bell Edwards, term limited. So he was a Democrat. Now Sean Wilson against Jeff Landry. So endorsements. Jeff Landry has the Trump endorsement and Bill Cassidy, which is huge. And Sean Wilson has Mary Landrieu and the Cedric Richmond. I think Landry's going to win this one. With the big endorsements and whatnot. So I think Landry wins that one. And then the last one is Mississippi. So you have Tate Reeves, who's the incumbent, against Brandon Presley. So Reeves it doesn't say, maybe down here, here's the endorsements. So Reeves has a Trump endorsement, which is big. Charles Younger, Angela Cockerham, and then Brandon Presley has a ton of endorsements too. Robert Martinez, Michael Parker, Bernie Thompson, and then a couple of statewide officials, John Bell Edwards, who is the Louisiana governor, and then obviously Phil Murphy of New Jersey, Gavin Newsom of Cali, Dick Mulpus. Those are some big statewide officials for endorsements. A lot of them in his party. I think he has a chance to knock off Reeves. But Mississippi is a very red state. So I'm going to say Reeves is reelected, but I don't feel good about it because Presley has a lot of big endorsements from statewide officials. So I'm going to say Reeves takes it, but I don't feel good about it. All right, the news and notes for today. We have to and absolutely must start with baseball for news and notes. An absolute bombshell of news came down. The Craig Council sweepstakes are over. And so after I was done recording yesterday, it was announced that the Mets were going to hire Carlos Mendoza, which we'll get to in a second, and that Craig Counsell will be heading to a team that already had a manager in place. I completely missed that part of the story. Full disclosure. That's why I was so shocked when I saw the news. And I cannot tell you how shocked I was when I saw the news, but it really makes sense because of the report saying that he was going to a team with an existing manager. If I saw that tweet, I would have not guessed the team that ended up landing him. And that team was the Chicago Cubs. Wow. This was an absolute bombshell. The Cubs realized, hey, David Ross probably isn't the guy. He oversaw a collapse that would cost our team a playoff spot. But I'm curious about the fans' reactions. I think David Ross would have been let go last year or this year if they were subpar. And the Cubs thing would have been a good prediction had the Cubs had a lousy record. But the Cubs had a good season, and I thought David Ross saved his job. But I was wrong. And now Craig Counsell is the manager of the Chicago Cubs, and it's a home run hire for the Cubs. I mean, he's a monster upgrade over David Ross, who had his best managerial job this past season to date, in my opinion. Although the COVID season, they made the playoffs too, but that was a short season. Weird shit happens. So I thought this past year was his best managerial season. They didn't make the playoffs, and they kept this a monster secret, so credit for the Cubs for just keeping this a secret and pulling this off with their their division rivals, now former manager. So, like I said, an absolute bombshell, but if I had saw the tweet, I wouldn't have guessed Cubs. The team that would have came to my mind was the Yankees, because I believe right before it was announced that Counsell was going to Chicago, were reported that Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman were going to speak to the media today. And then I would have thought, holy shit, Craig Counsell is going to the Yankees, and the Yankees are actually firing Aaron Boone. That would have been where my mind would have went. My guess would have been the Yankees, because of that report that Hal and Cashman were going to speak to the media. That's why. And that is the only reason why. And my other guess would have been the Dodgers, because they've just been flame out in the first round the last 2 years. Dave Roberts is just not good. He's literally the National League's version of Aaron Boone, except he won the COVID title, the COVID World Series. So, I would have also guessed the Dodgers. The Cardinals would have came to mind because they had a lousy season last year, and Marmol might not be the guy there. The Red Sox would have potentially came to mind because they collapsed at the end of the year and ended up finishing last in the division. The Blue Jays would have came to mind because they're dysfunctional. But my two guesses would have been the Yankees and the Dodgers. But no, he ends up going to another big market team in Chicago, and a team that is poised to make monster moves this offseason, and they're going to be looked upon potentially as the favorites in the NL Central next year. With the year they had last year, despite the collapse, the managerial upgrade, and they could potentially have multiple big additions, and potentially Shohei Ohtani too. So, keep an eye out for the Chicago Cubs, because they're here to stay, and the Counsell thing is just the beginning. But yeah, the Mets hire Carlos Mendoza. I think this is an interesting hire. We'll see how it plays out. Do I love it? No, because I'm not an Aaron Boone fan, and they hired Aaron Boone's bench coach. But this isn't good for the Yankees either, that they hired Mendoza. Because what if the Yankees got off to a slow start next year and they had to fire Boone? Then Carlos Mendoza would have been the intern replacement. He would have been potentially the Rob Thompson to the Joe Girardi in Philadelphia. Sometimes bench guys are sometimes better than the bosses. Like you're seeing that with Rob Thompson in Philadelphia. But that could have been Carlos Mendoza. He's been around a while. But I'm not saying it's a bad look for the Yankees. I just don't think it's good for the Yankees that they lost Mendoza in case they got off to a bad start and ended up having to make a change at manager. So, and that would have been the guy. But yeah, questionable hire by the Mets, but I think the Mets knew that he was going to Chicago, and that's why they hired Mendoza. And it was also reported that the Guardians made a big run at Counsell, and if Counsell went there, they would have, I think, become the favorites in that division, in the AL Central. Like, Craig Counsell's the top 3 manager in baseball. And then the other one that was speculated was Snicker in Atlanta, but they won the World Series 2 years ago. But then again, the Milwaukee Bucks fired Mike Budenholzer 2 years after a title, so anything can happen. And quite frankly, the Washington Capitals fired Barry Trotz after winning a freaking title. Let's not forget that either. And now the Brewers. Their owner wasn't happy. He was all salty, and their fans are probably salty. And by the way, the contract is 5 years, $40 million for Counsell. He would be getting paid $8 million a year. So he wanted the money, and the Cubs gave him the money. And the Brewers are considering Don Mattingly. He's one of 6 candidates for the job. Mattingly, to me, kind of just too old school. I know he did a nice job with the Marlins, but the Marlins fired him because they're just a dysfunctional mess. Go figure. And that was another one I saw speculated for Counsell. Why would they fire Skip Shoemaker? Why? I know they got swept by the Phillies, but they made the playoffs, and I thought Skip did a nice job. And now it looks like that former Cardinals manager, Mike Shilt's the favorite in San Diego. I'd like that hire better than the Mets hiring Carlos Mendoza, only because Schilt had some winning with St. Louis, and Mendoza is not proven. The MLB award finalists are out. I made a list of my finalists, and we'll see how it compares. All right, so the AL MVP finalists. We'll start there. Shohei Ohtani, Corey Seager, and a surprising name, Marcus Semien. The Rangers get 2 guys. Ohtani's probably going to win it because he's Ohtani. He probably should win it. Well, let's be honest. One of the finalists, if not the winner, would have been Aaron Judge had he not gotten hurt. And the Yankees probably would have been in the playoffs, so had he not gotten injured. So that's just an honorable mention. But my finalists, I had down Shohei Ohtani, Corey Seager, and Julio Rodriguez. I thought Rodriguez should have been in there for carrying the Mariners in the second half of the year, coming darn close to the postseason. Because they didn't make the postseason, he was not in there. NL MVP, the finalists are Ronald Acuna Jr., Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman. Although I had Ronald Acuna Jr., Mookie Betts, and Matt Olson. But I had Matt Olson in there because of all the home runs he hit. And he helped carry the Braves to the best record. But I understand Freeman. Hitting .331, he can't go wrong there. All right, National League Cy Young, it's Zach Gallen, Blake Snell, and Logan Webb. I have Blake Snell, Zach Gallen, and Justin Steele. I went with Justin Steele only because of his breakthrough season. I understand Logan Webb. He's been very durable. So is Justin Steele. But I like to reward guys on teams that, again, like the Cubs almost made the postseason. He's on a winning team. I think that stuff matters unless your name's Shohei Ohtani and you're that good. All right, AL Cy Young, Garrett Cole, Kevin Gausman, Sonny Gray. I have Garrett Cole, Kevin Gausman, and Luis Castillo. I almost went Sonny Gray, but the strikeouts weren't there. I understand Gray's case. Garrett Cole will probably win it, although, again, Yankees underachieved. And it's kind of like Ohtani with the AL MVP. Angels underachieved, but you still probably have to go there. The Rookie of the Year for the National League, Corbin Carroll, James Outman, and Cody Senga. I have down Corbin Carroll, Spencer Strider, Francisco Alvarez. So I thought Alvarez was more valuable to the Mets offense than Senga was to the rotation. Senga, to me, good pitcher. But he, to me, was a little up and down too much. And then I understand Outman. He was awesome on the Dodgers. And then he got off to that great start. But Spencer Strider helped carry the Reds to meaningful games in the second half of the year. The Rookie of the Year in the American League, Tanner Bibbe, Tristan Casas, Gunnar Henderson. And I have down Gunnar Henderson, Yennier Cano, and Josh Jung. I almost went with Casas, but I went with the Orioles reliever instead, who was really good. Reminded me of Devin Williams on Milwaukee a couple years ago. But Gunner's going to win, hands down. Bibbe, good candidate too. I went with Jung because maybe it's just recency bias with the Rangers, but the Rangers just deserve the love. National League Manager of the Year, Craig Counsell, Skip Shoemaker, Brian Snicker. And those are the three same gentlemen I had on my list. So that's the only one I hit 3 for 3 on. And I would actually pick Skip Shoemaker. And then American League Manager of the Year, Bruce Bochy, Kevin Cash, Brandon Hyde. And I have Bruce Bochy, Brandon Hyde, and Rocco Baldelli of Minnesota. That's because they won the Central. I know they didn't have many wins, but the Rays' second half collapse kind of turned me off on the Rays. But Kevin Cash just gets favoritism by the media. Meanwhile, his team shit the bed against the Rangers. Granted, the Rangers won the World Series. That looks better now than it did when it happened. But his team shit the bed against the Rangers and really was disappointing in the second half of the season. And they lost McClanahan and Franco. I understand that, but that good start is the reason why they made the playoffs. And the Yankees would have finished ahead of them had they not got off to that good start. Some more news and notes. We're going to do it rapid fire style. Dylan Cease is on the trade block. That's interesting. So that's a big name on the block. The Angels could hire from a former star, Torrey Hunter, Tim Salmon, Darren Erstad. Torrey Hunter would be interesting. The Braves picked up the Charlie Morton $20 million option. Michael Conforto opts into the $18 million for another season with the Giants. Football, Kyler Murray back this week for the Cardinals if all goes well. Khalil Herbert back for the Bears. Aaron Rodgers entered MetLife Stadium with no crutches. That's a good sign. Aaron Rodgers says, give me a few weeks, as he hints at a return from injury in post-game conversation with Derwin James. Chargers general manager Tom Telesco regretted the J.C. Jackson deal as he apologized to team's defensive backs for signing him after trading him. The Titans are eyeing Martavius Bryant as he plans to work out for the Titans if there's no deal with Dallas. So, after Josh McDaniels was fired, apparently inside the Raiders locker room, it's been a big-time party. Wow. Yikes. The 2025 NFL draft dates are set, 24th to the 26th in Green Bay. So that's not next year. That is the following year. And the 2024 draft obviously will be held in Detroit at Hart Plaza and around campus, Marty's Park. College football, James Madison is seeking bowl eligibility as they want the NCAA to relax FCS to FBS rules prohibiting program from earning postseason bowl. I don't blame James Madison. They're awesome. The NCAA is not implicating Harbaugh as the league's findings don't connect Michigan's coach to sign-stealing scandal. I still think he's out, though. The NCAA joins Central Michigan in investigation as the league is looking into unidentified person on Central Michigan sideline against Michigan State. Basketball, Adam Silver announces that the Chase Center will host the All-Star Game in 2025, so that's cool. So Steph Curry gets the All-Star Game at home. RJ Barrett came back for the Knicks last night. That was a big deal. I personally think they would have won those two games against the Bucks and the Cavaliers last week. They would have won those two games had he been there. Jamal Murray out several weeks due to a hamstring injury. That is brutal for the Nuggets. Anthony Davis said he'll be ready for tomorrow night's game against the Rockets with the hip injury. This is brutal. Robert Williams needs surgery. No timetable for return. There's rumors that he might be out for a year. That is absolutely devastating for the Blazers because they could have traded him into more pieces. 2024's number 2 center, Jaden Quintans, is down to Kentucky, Florida, Ohio State, and Missouri. Kentucky really hasn't had that dominant big man in a while. I think they get him. I'm 1-for-1 on big recruits. I nailed Cooper Flagg. Let's see if I nail this one too. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. There's a couple I had in mind. But best bet, I'm actually going to go to hockey for tonight because college basketball did me poorly last night. Although I should have went with West Virginia last night. I didn't do it only because the line was too low and it scared me off. But there was an over I adored in hockey tonight. And that is between the Kraken and the Coyotes. I'm going to lay a quarter unit on it. So over 6.5 between the Kraken and the Coyotes for my best bet of the day. All right, that's it for the show. We will be back tomorrow with everything. We have Masked Singer and Survivor tomorrow, so we're looking forward to that as well. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.